My name is Avishai. I'm the CEO and founder of Evo Inc. We started out a couple years ago as a baby monitor company, meaning we made our own device that connected to the cloud, iOS apps, some Android even, essentially making a monitor that is more modern. People could use it on their smartphones, get smart alerts when baby cries, see a lot of data. So really a smarter version of the current solutions. Very, very cloud heavy, very app heavy. So this was a big development project for us. A little bit about myself. I'm an engineer by trade, so I did a lot of EE and software work. I went to Stanford Business School and have an MBA from there. I worked with startups and big companies, and this one's been going on for about 2.5 years already. So we came to Itransition because I've known Itransition for a while. I worked with Itransition in a previous company where I wasn't the founder, but I was the first employee. I worked with my brother-in-law works with Itransition. So when I started this company, I already had in mind that Itransition was a great partner that I wanted to work with. And so when I engaged the business team and the technology team, it was with requirements, but loose requirements around overall system architecture and what's the right way to build it, and really taking into considerations different technologies and different parts and trade-offs in the system. We worked initially through a quote process for the entire project, saw it broken down, and in the end chose to work with a dedicated team, which is the way every company I've worked with that's worked with Itransition has worked. And since then, for the last 2 years, we've had a team in Itransition. It started out from one developer, and now it's a much larger team. We got up to 8 developers, designers working on our projects. My brother-in-law recommended Itransition originally, and then the previous company I worked with, we had a lot of outsourcing, software outsourcing resources in different companies. We tried people in we had a team in Russia, we had a team in Indonesia at some point, India, and Itransition came relatively late in that previous company. Very quickly, it was apparent that skill was comparable to the Russian company we're working with, and I'm not going to name the names of the other companies, but the attention to service, the knowledge of the executives in Itransition, willingness to engage with the customers was far better at Itransition than any other company we worked with. And so when I started Evo, I didn't even go through a process of working with several software development companies, partners, and just selected Itransition from the start. First of all, we've changed technologies quite a bit, and we have one of the more complex systems that uses a lot of different technologies. Because of our multi-platform, multi-feature sets, we needed streaming technologies. We wanted alerts to calls to real phones, landlines. So integrating with third-party trunks, third-party SMS providers, a lot of database because of all our user data, applications. It was all Java, Ruby, web, Flash, streaming clients. So the whole system is a lot of different technologies, which is one of the things our guys like about the project, to be honest. It challenges them as engineers. From our perspective, it led also to some challenges. Selecting the right technology wasn't always trivial. Sometimes we made mistakes together ourselves as Evo team and with the Itransition team together. And then we had to overcome them, take a few steps back, think about the right decision and make it. Scalability and security has become a real challenge because we're now working with some very large partners on joint products. And so Belkin is one that we can make public, which is launching a joint product with us. And their requirements for scalability and for security of our cloud and the apps and everything was a pretty big challenge that our team didn't initially know how to go after. But good thing is we called up Itransition management and had a lot of productive sessions, even face-to-face in the Minsk offices, around how to design, how to plan the process of building the scalable cloud. We chose our methodology not based on specifically Agile or Scrum. Yes, there are elements of Agile in there. We lean heavily on the methods that Pivotal Labs use, and so with their tools, Pivotal Tracker, and the ideas of short, brief tasks, short sprints, weekly deployments, and constant contact between team members. We try a lot of different methodologies. There's pair programming that we do as a technique to advance over issues, but we didn't use an overall complete Scrum process. We had a few stages in the company. The first one was building our app-only solution, which was you could use iOS as both the monitor and the parenting unit, and that was built really well. I mean, it was a complex system with a lot of technologies, and still within a couple months, we had a good working prototype. We took around. We used that as the baseline for learning about the new things and built more and more solutions on top of it. Then there was the element of actually having a physical device with embedded software, and that's where process always gets tricky when you deal with the hardware limitations and low resources. And so even then, after a few months, we generally look at milestones at a 2-3 month basis. And iTransition's been right there with us, meeting those milestones together. Everything except for algorithms that actually process the audio, which are CTO built, and some of the embedded code. Everything else, iOS, Android, web, servers, desktop, all those things were done by iTransition. Different people, different parts of the team. I would highly recommend iTransition to anyone who's looking to increase their software development capabilities, or even just as their initial ones. The reason for that is because they're professional, the developers themselves are high quality and are very, very well recruited and well trained, and the management not only is open to feedback and to hearing, but gets actively involved in the project when it's needed, or even when you ask for it and it's not needed. The customer service of iTransition is without parallel from my experience with other software development providers.